Today, we're going to review a shoe that New Balance claims delivers comfort every step of the way for your half and full marathon training. Today, we're reviewing the New Balance Fuel Cell Supercomp Trainer V3. Hey runners, and welcome to my channel. My name is Letty. I also host the weekly marathon running podcast that you're welcome to check out on all platforms. But let's hop into today's review. For abbreviation purposes, we're going to refer to this shoe as the Fuel Cell Trainer V3. And before we get started, I purchased this shoe with my own money and all opinions are my own. Alright, so let's get started with the model and purpose of the shoe. As indicated in the name, this shoe comes from the line of Fuel Cell shoes. There's Fresh Foam, there's Fuel Cell. Well, and Fuel Cell is the more performance-oriented type of running shoes that New Balance brings out. And within that, this shoe, according to their website, is for your half and full marathon training. They state that the shoe was crafted for long runs, and so it's best for long runs and even races. Alright, so when we look at the tech specs of the shoe, and you can also see that on the New Balance website when you scroll down, they list the stability as a 2 out of 4. The cushioning is a 3 out of 4. When it comes to the weight of the shoe, it is listed as a 7.5 ounce shoe with a 6 millimeter drop. Moving on to the features of the shoe, this shoe has a phantom fit mesh upper. It has a gusseted tongue. It has the Fuel Cell foam like the Rebel 4, which is a mix of the PIBA and EVA blend. It has an energy arc plate for speed and propulsion, and the outsole has pretty grippy tracking that is supposed to make your runs feel really stable. As for the colors of the shoe, this shoe is available, as you see here, in women's, which is the Black Phantom Bleached Lime. The shoe is also available as a white with cyber jade and metallic silver, which looks really pretty. And that same color combo is available in the men's as well. As for the pricing of the shoe, this shoe is available on the US website for $179.99. When it comes to other countries, however, there is a huge discrepancy in pricing. I've seen prices as high as £230 on UK websites, and so I'm not sure why that is. I know New Balance is obviously United States brands, but I'm not sure why the pricing is so off. Normally they're more similar than their shoes are along the lines. Now, given that the shoe does have a carbon fiber plate and some really good foam, the US pricing at least seems to be fair comparing the shoe to other shoes in this market. Speaking about comparing things, let's compare this shoe to its predecessor, which was the V2, and let's talk about what's different. When it comes to the Supercomp trainer, there was a V1, obviously V2 and V3, and it seems like all of them have had some drastic changes, almost to where you could rename the model and have it be something else. Comparing the shoe to the immediate predecessor, this shoe feels a lot more stable. The predecessor felt more bouncy though, so maybe there were some complaints about it not feeling stable enough for a trainer. Usually the racing shoes are the ones that are less stable, so this shoe is more stable, but it's not as bouncy. Now, another shoe that is currently on the market also by New Balance is the Rebel V4, and I mentioned that they have the same similar foam in the middle, so that is an alternative. However, I feel like the Rebel V4 is a shoe that is more of an up-tempo, a little bit faster shoe, even though the Supercomp V3 is a trainer with a carbon plate. That carbon plate at this point in life doesn't necessarily mean it's always there to make your shoe the fastest as possible. What it means also is that it adds stability to your ride. Now, let's talk about my first impression when I opened the box and I saw this shoe. I was pretty happy with it. It's a beautiful shoe. I love the color, and I put it on and it feels very soft, but not as soft as the V2 did. So that was one thing I noticed instantly. I did like the upper. The upper sits pretty well, but in my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of as much cushioning, even though it doesn't have a lot of cushioning, but I'm very minimalist when it comes to my own personal opinion with cushioning. It had more cushioning than I normally like, but with that, it also locked my foot in very nicely when I put it on. Wearing the shoe, even though not as soft as the V2, felt great. And so I couldn't wait to take it for a ride, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when I run and wear the shoe. so now I'm going to tell you my opinion about this shoe. My first impression of wearing this shoe and having a very comfortable feel and having it be very cushy didn't change. The ride in the shoe, running in it, felt very comfortable. I took it for some long runs at marathon pace. I didn't go faster than marathon pace because my training schedule didn't call for that, but it felt very good on my feet. There was not a lot of foot fatigue. Carbon plate always helps with that. It felt stable, it felt soft, but it also felt responsive. Now, would I wear these shoes for speed work? I probably wouldn't, just because I have shoes that are designated for speed work and going really fast paces for me. And so I probably wouldn't. Could you? I mean, you can basically push any shoe to anything. Would it feel good? Maybe a little bit too on the cushy side if you're going that 5 pace and beyond pace where you're really trying to go fast, but definitely doable. But again, that's not what the shoe is designed for. So it's always important to see on the website what the manufacturer designed the shoe for, and then kind of stay with that, because if they wanted you to run 5Ks in it, then they would have probably changed a couple things, right? Now, pros and cons, I'm going to list them out for you. Upper. Upper is a pro. Upper locks you in. Upper is light. It's not super light, but it's pretty light. It's very comfortable. Next one, the heel lockdown. The heel is very stable and it's very padded, so it'll lock your heel down and you won't be slipping up and down. You won't get any blisters on your heels. It'll feel really nice on your foot. I also like the gusseted tongue that we have in here. That makes everything very comfortable. And again, like I said, the shoe feels very stable. You can feel the propulsion and you can feel some energy return with the shoe. Now, cons of the shoe, it's not a speed shoe, but then again, it wasn't designed to be a speed shoe. Another con, the price point for people outside of the US seems to be a little bit steep, but maybe we can email New Balance and ask them what that's all about. All right, so last con, the fact that New Balance has changed so many key features just within the model between their versions, V1, V2, V3, having all these different changes is, I think, hard for the consumer, because you don't know what you're getting yourself into when you order the shoe. Watch the return policy and see if you like these changes to this shoe. If you like the V2, doesn't mean you're going to like the V3. I think that's a con just in general for the brand. So maybe go to your local shoe store and see if you can try the shoe out before purchasing it, so you don't buy the cat in the sack. So in summary, who is the shoe for? The shoe is, as they say on their website, for people training for their full and half marathons and are doing long runs according to their plan that is within that speed. Obviously, you can, like I said, wear the shoe if you're running a little bit faster or a little bit slower. The shoe is going to be very comfortable, but just again, keep in mind what the shoe is designed for, and hopefully you will like the shoe. If you're upgrading from the V2, make sure that you try the shoe on first and see if you even like this version. It's more stable. And that wraps it up for today. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next shoe review, which I'm sure will happen next week. And until then, have a great week of running.